Hello and welcome to the show. We're back. Yes, we're not dead. We've just been lazy. It's really an equivalent, isn't it? Lazy or dead. It's up to you. Yeah, I'm rambling, aren't I? I am. Please don't leave. I know it's just the start of the show, but don't leave. I'll get over my rambling problem eventually. Anyway, welcome to Series 1 of Petrol Heads. We're back. It's good to be back, and well, we've got some good stuff planned for you to watch. And coming up now is a taster of things you could expect to see over the coming weeks. Oh yes, now all of that is to come later on the series. Now, we start off with this. This is a Ferrari 458. In my point of view, the best mid-engine supercar you can buy today. It's honestly, when this car was released, everything bowed down to it. This was built to replace the F430, which was fine, but cars could compete with it. This is in a league of its own. If you want a car that looks better than this, good luck. If you want a car that's faster than this for the similar price, okay, you could probably find a car that looks better than this. You could probably find a car that sounds better. You could probably find a car that's quicker than this. But can you find a car that can do all those things with a similar price and you can have as much fun with it? I think not. This car is a 4.5 litre naturally aspirated V8, which will give you 562 horsepower and 398 foot-pounds of torque. And when that goes through the exhaust, it's heavenly. It is one of the best modern-day engine notes I've heard in a long, long time. This car is God. Like, if you want an idea on how this car sounds, get every single God, put them into a blender, and that will not have as good of a sound as this does when it comes out the end of the car. It's brilliant. And it has a dual clutch 7-speed gearbox, so you can hear that noise with the most buttery smooth gear shifts. It's brilliant. I decided to take it onto the track for a test drive to prove my point. The lovely sound of wheel spin. It's great. This car revs hard, it shifts quick, it's brilliant. I could boast about this car for hours and hours, but I don't want to waste your time. But anyway, back to the test drive. Now, I could drive around boringly, really quickly like a Stig, but, well, I'm not that quick. So I decided, let's drive this car like a maniac. Or like how I normally drive every day. So I thought, well, not everyone's a Stig, let's drive this like the more exuberant driver. And I have to report, it is great if you want to do power sliding. You just kick it into the corner, put your foot down, apply some opposite lock, and you are fine. This car is brilliant. It looks great. It sounds even better. It drives brilliantly, and honestly, for the money, it's a good all-round package. But it seems like Ferrari just wants to outdo even themselves. So they've made the 458, but all of the little boffins have thought, wait a minute, if we lower the capacity, add some turbos, I think we could somehow make this perfect car just that little more special. Well, it seems like after a year of work, apparently they've made something that's better than this. I'll have to see it to believe it. So this is what the little boffins at Ferrari have been getting up to. This is what they've been creating. This is the 488 GTB, and this is apparently meant to replace the 458. This has very big shoes to fill if you want to replace that car, so let's give it the rundown. It has a 3.9 litre V8, which is smaller than the 458, but it's turbocharged. It has 661 brake horsepower and 561 foot-pounds of torque, so it outdoes it on that front for sure. It also shares the same gearbox as the 458, and if you ask me, it looks very similar to the 458. If you squint, it's basically a 458. It looks like someone just got a picture of the old car onto Photoshop and kind of just add some squiggles. Yes, sir, we have made a new car. We'll call it the 488. It looks really similar, especially that back end. But I'm going to enter this with a fresh mind, or an open mind. Whatever mind you want, really. And I'm going to see what it's like. So let's take on to the track and have a go. And off we go. I will say this thing sounds very nice to the rev limiter. Those turbos give a good noise. It's not as godly as the 458, but definitely it's a nice sound. Now, coming out to the corners, I was expecting nothing, really. I was going to enter this with the mind of a supercar, so I was going to... It's hard to explain how I was trying to judge this thing. What I was thinking was, I'm going to give myself an empty box. I'm going to empty my mind and just kind of draw myself a supercar, in a way. So I'm going to drive it and imagine what it's like. It feels like you've turned the 458 into a Silvia. This thing, because of the more power, and especially the shared chassis and body as the 458, it wants to kick its tail out more. That's actually not a bad thing, because this thing is a riot. I had a lot of fun power sliding this thing around. If you want to see the fast lap time on track without drifting at all, traction control. I recommend you flick that on, but if you want to have fun, flick this off, put your foot down, and man it, you are gone. You can drift a 458 easily. This just is a bit easier, and it sounds very nice. Like I said, not as good as a 458, but it is quite good. I will bow down to this vehicle. It is very nice. Still looks too similar as a 458, and it still drives similar to one. Just get a 458, chuck some different bumpers on it, chuck some more power in it, and you have a 488. But it still is quite a nice machine. Anyway, we will get back to the Ferraris in a minute. Now, pop quiz. If you lived in the 90s and you wanted a fast, fun roadster, what did you buy? No. Why would you buy that again? No. Yes, you. Yes, the Mazda MX-5. In my point of view, the best budget convertible. Because this thing is brilliant. Engine in the front, power to the back, lack of power for that matter, but it made up for it with its lack of weight. And a beautiful transmission. 5-speed in this car is great. And it is a brilliant car, the Mark I in a Mazda MX-5. It was powered by a 1.6 litre 4-cylinder inline-4. 115 horsepower, 100 foot-pounds of torque. I'm pretty sure your mum's Toyota Corolla has more power than that. But this car weighs 940 kilograms with a 5-speed manual, which made it so good to drive. I love this car. Dear to my heart, it's a brilliant thing. Especially, it has pop-up headlights. Any car with pop-up headlights is amazing. Well, most of them are. There are some bad ones. But, well, because of dumb pedestrian safety laws, I hate you government for this. In 1997, when the Mark II NB MX-5 was released, well, the pop-up headlamps had to say goodbye and replaced with fixed ones. Yeah. Anyway, this is the NB MX-5. It was released in 1997, at the earliest time when it was released at the Chicago Motor Show, and the base model comes with a 1.8 litre 4-cylinder, 140 horsepower, 157 foot-pounds of torque engine, which is more horsepower than the NA, but it weighs 1,000 kilograms, 60 kilograms more. And, well, it has a 5-speed manual like the NA car. It has no pop-ups, which makes it more annoying. And you know how people call the MX-5 a hairdresser's car? Well, looking at this, I'm not surprised, because the Mark I looked sporty and cool. the Mark III and the Mark IV, which we'll get up to soon, those were pretty good as well. But this, it is a bit of a hairdresser's car, especially in other colours like the amber or like the silvery colour. Like, come on, Mazda. Like, it's a great car to drive, but it's such a hairdresser's car. I honestly, I had to buy that NB just for this episode. Meanwhile, every other MX-5 I already owned. Talking about other MX-5s which are better, this is the Mazda MX-5 NC. After Mazda realised how much of a cock-up the NB was, well, styling front, they changed it. This was released in 2006 with a 2-litre 4-cylinder engine, and in the USA it was rated for 170 horsepower and 140 foot-pounds of torque. You could get a 5 or 6-speed manual, and it's the only MX-5 with an electric roof, even to this day. The NA and the MB both had fabric roofs, which were manual, which were quick. This electric roof was nice and luxury, but it did take some time to open and shut. So, I guess that's a downside, but luxury. This car as well was a very nice car to drive. I enjoyed it personally. It was very nice. What else do I think about it? Nice car. Pretty nice looking, keeping modern with the times, definitely. But, I think this is better. Presenting, ladies and gentlemen, the brand new ND Mazda MX-5. Yeah, I know, they call it NABCD. Let's call it the Mark IV. Presenting the brand new Mark IV MX-5. This is definitely one of my favorites. This or the NA are my favorites. The NB and the NC can go trot off. This car is very nice. This is meant to reference back to the NA. Low power, low weight, unlike the NB and the NC with their huge power but huge weight. Now, this car has a 2-litre 4-cylinder inline-4, but with the Skyactiv technology, so you get better fuel economy and better power and better this, better that. It's all confusing stuff. It just gives you better fuel economy and more power. It comes with a 6-speed manual, and it's back to basics with low power, low weight, like the NA, and we also went back to using a fabric roof, which I approve of greatly, actually. And for styling, this thing looks tremendous in my point of view. It has like that angry look. Because if you look at the front of each Mazda MX-5, they have faces. Definitely the NB Mark II makes the most look like a hairdresser's car. This car goes, I'm angry and I want you to die. So I thought, let's give this car a test drive. Is it still as good as the NA? Let's find out. I took it to Mazda Laguna Seca for a nice little hot lap to see what it's like. And definitely, I was not disappointed. It was peppy off the line. The gear shifts were quick. And it was fun. And you're probably saying, wait a minute, the only transmissions you said are manuals. Yes, all of these cars did come with automatic options, but for heaven's sakes, if you're buying a sporty MX-5, if you buy an automatic, give up on life, you. Why would you buy an MX-5 with an automatic? That's like going, I want a Porsche 928. No, I don't want a manual, I want an automatic. Even though the manuals are more rare, but if you want a 928, get a manual. Same with the MX-5, get a manual. If you get an automatic, you've given up on fun. Or buy a Prius. There's so many things in the car world that make you give up. I'm getting distracted, aren't I? Yes, I am. MX-5. This thing was a tremendous car to drive. It turned in well, you put your foot down, and there was power. Not much, but it was fun. And this car really taught... I remember the NA, when I first played Forza, this was the car that taught me about driving. Or what little driving skills I had. But this is what got me into driving. Light cars with no power, because it really taught me about keeping the power in the corners. And I have so many memories with the Mazda NA, or the Mark I. But definitely this car was good, because it was about keeping that power and keeping the racing line, and this thing is a joy. It is a brilliant car to drive. And definitely, when it comes to looks, it's very nice. Now, if it just had pop-up headlights, it'd be perfect. But you can't ask for everything. I'm saying kill the government and let's get pop-up headlights back. Who needs to strike for better jobs and better pay? I just want pop-up headlights back. And then I can die happy. Anyway, going off topic again for like the 35th time in this video. It's a brilliant car. I definitely, if you're playing Forza and you want just to take a break from all of your race cars and your Ferraris and Lamborghinis, buy an MX-5 and just do a couple hot laps in it. Buy this or the NA. Ignore the NB. Well, actually, never mind. Don't ignore the NB in this game, because this is the Mazda Speed one, which is not a bad car to drive, but if you want a good all-rounder car, that's including looks, avoid the NB. And the NC is fine, but if you want the NC, get the MX-5 Cup Edition. But anyway, buy the NA or buy the NC. It is a fun car to drive, and it's a great thing for doing some hot laps. I literally, after recording this, I may have spent the next 45 minutes, half an hour, just driving this car around the track. Yeah, I got yelled at for staying over my time limit. But anyway, thing is, this car is brilliant. I cannot repeat myself or stress it enough. It's a great car. And I'm planning, and I thought, it's a great car, but there are other roadsters that exist. Is it better than those ones? Well, I guess I'll have to find that out in a future episode of Petrolheads. But to quickly wrap up, which I've already wrapped up 35 times on this car, it's a great car. It looks awesome, it pays tribute to the NA with low power and low weight. It's a riot to drive. I had so much fun flicking it around, doing quick laps. I definitely recommend it to anyone who wants to try it. It's very nice.